So it wasn't all happening in London, oh no. In fact, our next mob of cheeky, lovable mop-tops put the North West on punk's musical map, but only after they invited my gang, the Sex Pistols, to play their first gigs north of Watford.
One of my greatest achievements was to get Sweep and Sooty to perform Boredom on So It Goes. I was very proud of that.
Stop it, Sooty. Just... Now, don't you start. Look, if I... Boys, will you stop bouncing up and down?
Thank you very, very much. And for those of you who didn't recognise it, Sweep was doing an extremely avant-garde version of Boredom there, a classic song from a classic band, This the Band.
Manchester's Buzzcocks were formed at the throbbing heart of North West England's punk scene, Bolton Institute of Higher Education.
I answered an advert on a college notice board for musicians wanted, and it was this weird guy called Devoto.
I don't really have a memory of my first meeting of Pete's. I knew it was something to do with the Sexual Deviant Society at college or something like that.
Howard said, "Are you really serious about this band? You know what I mean? We're going to, try and do something with it."
After seeing the Sex Pistols, the student band took their music more seriously, and their clothing.
I think I might have turned up at High Wycombe to see the Sex Pistols that first time, wearing a pair of gentle cord flares. Now, there was obviously some room for improvement there. Pete went a bit overboard, really.
I just got a pair of salmon pink jeans and ran them up on my mum's sewing machine, so that I had trouble getting my feet in and out of them, but they suited me, and it used to stop traffic.
And their career made great strides when Howard wangled them a support slot with the Pistols in Manchester.
So I'd never been on the stage in my life. I wasn't one of these kind of musicians that played around pubs, So we got on, we was like shaking with this nervous energy and delivered like something that was probably pretty frightening, really,
So Manchester now had punk rock, but the record deals were still in London.
We're never going to have our own record. Guess we'll just have to do it ourselves.
For £500, we could have picture sleeve records, and picture sleeves were virtually unheard of then.
Their Spiral Scratch EP became the first independent punk record, but Howard's way lay in a different direction.
OK, we've now made a record. That's great. That's a milestone at which to stop.
Devoto left to form his own band, Magazine, and within 4 years had left the music business altogether. Meanwhile,
I'm in love again. Been like this before.
Pete took over on vocals, penning tales of adolescent torment and joy, love and rejection.
People come up to, "You're a punk, you're supposed to spit at us and stuff." Felt we had to move on.
I just can't explain.
This brave new anti-phlegm stance led to their biggest hit, inspired by dialogue from the film Guys and Dolls.
But one of the characters, Adelaide, says, "Have you ever fallen in love with someone you should not have fallen in love with?" And I thought, that's a brilliant title for a song, that.
Ever fall in love with someone, ever fallen in love with someone, ever fall in love with someone you should have fallen in love with. Ever fall in love with someone, ever fallen in love with someone, ever fallen in love with someone you should have fallen in love with.
Real punk was saying fuck you, with all the simplicity and energy and delight and youthfulness of punk. Pete Shelley found a way of saying love you.
How can you ever let me down? How can you ever let me down? How can you
Every day was magic. There was no time for sleeping, You'd do gigs, you'd go out to clubs and all that stuff. If you ain't going to do it when you're 20, when are you going to do it? So
The hits kept coming, for a time at least, but these cocks were getting far too buzzed for their own good.
We've got to stop this, the joints, then the coke's got to come, then where's the acid? You end up sort of wondering what fire extinguishers sound like with a bit of delay on and all this, you know. We finished from there, really, you know.
The trip ended in '81. Steve Diggle formed the Flag of Convenience, while Pete, he went all Desmond Morris with his first solo effort, a #1 hit down under, but neither could bear the pain of being parted from their first love. They reformed in '93 and are still releasing new records, but it's those saucy old favourites that keep them pogoing.
Hey, punk's Northern Soul there, and didn't they look nice? You see, punk was never about uniforms, Mohicans, ripped-in liners. It was about